During my son's kindergarten screening, the counselor asked him to draw our family and then called security. The screening was routine until it wasn't. My wife had work, so I brought our 5-year-old Liam alone. Mrs. Peterson had him count blocks and identify letters. He was doing great. Then she slid paper and crayons across the table. Liam, draw me a picture of your family. Liam grabbed a black crayon and started drawing. I was filling out forms across the room when I noticed Mrs. Peterson had gone completely still, hand over her mouth. Liam, can you tell me about your drawing? He pointed. That's Daddy. That's Mommy. That's me. Her face went pale. And who's that? She pointed at something on the page. That's my other mommy. My head snapped up. Other mommy? Mrs. Peterson's voice got tighter. Your other mommy? Yeah. She visits at night when Daddy's asleep. She stands in my room and watches me. Sometimes she cries. Mrs. Peterson stood so fast her chair fell backward. Mr. Hayes, wait outside. What? Why? Please. I didn't move. Instead, I walked over to see the drawing. The paper was covered in black crayon. 3 stick figures on one side that I assumed were us. But on the other side was another figure, taller than the rest, with long black hair drawn all the way down to the ground. The face had hollow circles for eyes and a smile that stretched way too far across the page. My stomach dropped. Mrs. Peterson was already calling security. I need you in room 4B, immediately. Wait, what's happening? I demanded. Her hands were shaking. Does your son have night terrors? Has anyone been in your home that shouldn't be? My blood went cold. Not that I know of. 2 security guards arrived at the door. Mrs. Peterson pulled them aside and showed them the drawing. They both stiffened immediately. One guard looked at me. Sir, does this mean anything to you? I stared at the drawing again. The long hair, the smile that was too wide, and then I remembered. 3 weeks ago, I woke up at 2 a.m. and found Liam's door standing wide open. I never left it open. A week later, his nightlight was unplugged when my wife went to check on him. 5 days ago, I found muddy footprints on our back porch, adult-sized. I'd assumed it was the landscaper. We need to call the police. Mrs. Peterson called 911 and explained the situation to the dispatcher. They said units were being sent to our house immediately. I knelt down next to Liam. Buddy, when does the other mommy visit? He shrugged like it was no big deal. Mostly Thursdays. Sometimes other nights. What does she do when she's there? She just stands there and watches me. Sometimes she touches my hair. She smells weird. I felt like I was going to be sick. The guard looked at me. Sir, we need you to come with us to your house. Don't go inside until police clear it. We drove home separately. 3 police cruisers were already parked outside when we arrived. Officers were walking around the perimeter with flashlights. One officer waved me over. Sir, do you have a crawl space? Yeah, why? We found evidence someone's been staying there. Blankets, food wrappers, and this. He held up an evidence bag with a photo. Liam sleeping in his bed, taken from inside his room. I couldn't breathe. They searched for 2 hours before finding her. A woman in her 40s, filthy, hiding in the crawl space behind the furnace, living under our house for at least a month. When they pulled her out, she was holding more photos. Dozens. Liam sleeping, eating breakfast, playing, all taken from inside our house. The officer said she'd been coming up through a loose vent in Liam's closet. That's how she got into his room without us hearing. They arrested her immediately. Breaking and entering, stalking, endangering a child. At the station, they told me her name was Catherine Rourke. She'd been living in our crawl space for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of watching my son sleep. She claimed Liam was her son in another life, that she was protecting him. The photos proved otherwise. Dozens of them, all taken while we slept upstairs, completely unaware. I called my wife from the station. When I told her, she went silent for 10 seconds. Then she said, "We're never going back to that house." We didn't. Sold it 3 months later and moved across town. Changed every lock. Installed cameras. Sealed every vent. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. If Liam hadn't drawn that picture, if Mrs. Peterson hadn't trusted her gut and called security, how much longer would Catherine Rourke have kept coming into my son's room at night? Liam still draws pictures for school. I make sure to look at every single one.